They all claim to be the best at raising you up the Google chart, and some may actually receive results in the short term by boosting you up. They can spend money on Google AdWords, they can put the right keywords in, they can use Word Tracker to find out what those key phrases are. But at the end of the day, the way to do it, as you said earlier, is to put your own resources in. It's to think about your strategy. What are you trying to achieve? It's to use your customer's voice on your website. There's no point saying, here's my product, it's great. What you've got to do is turn around and look at it from the other end of the telescope. You need to look at the world from your consumers' and customers' point of view, your organisational needs, and look at it from that side. The MD said we had to. No good reason not to. We all know what it's like to get the Friday afternoon call. Got to improve the website. Why is that page not being done? And those things are going to happen, but that's the same with any element of business. You have to prioritise. And to be fair, most MDs are in business to make money. The communications and strategy of the business is part of what they should believe and own. The reality is most of them will throw it across to the marketing department by the time you get out of the very smallest companies. So just because the MD says you've got to, yes, you might have to. But you've got to do it on your own terms, you've got to do it right. And then there's the Del Boy justification for a website. This time next year we'll be millionaires. It's very rarely true. There were some millionaires made in the early days. And some people are making money on places like eBay. They're buying goods cheap from China, they're trading them into Europe and selling them on eBay. I've bought stuff on eBay. Most people here will have bought stuff on eBay. Some will have sold it on eBay. Those sites do work. The reality is, most of us are not looking to get massively rich using the internet for personal search reasons like that. Most of us have business reasons. So those are some of the bad reasons to develop websites. And here are some of the better reasons. We've got a great idea. You've had that eureka moment in the pub, talking to your mates. Here's what we need on the site. Those are worth catching. Those are worth saving. You might get your eureka moments in the shower in the morning. You've got a business plan. Now, there would be an unusual business with a business plan. Still, every business should have one. Every business should have a direction. And a website should fit that strategy and that business plan. If you've got a plan that says next year we're going to be big, and the website doesn't match up to that aspiration, and in fact takes you in a different direction, it's not going to work. Or if it works, it will take you in the wrong direction. I've done the research. You've looked at where the idea fits it, and it's tailor-made, and considerations being given to the return you can expect on the new investment. You've done the research. You've established the market exists, where they are, what they're doing, and the figures look good. You've got a budget, and you've got resources. It's great to have a fabulous idea about a website. I want to develop this website. The trouble is you need to get some buy-in from the people in the company who've got the money. They've either got the people resources or they've got the financial resources to make it happen. Having a strategy is good. Having the right idea to match up with the strategy for your website is good. But if you can't convince the people with the power, the financial power, people resources power, the budget very often, it's not going to happen. And that's one of the things that I've learned in developing websites over the last 4 or 5 years is first, get the strategy, second, get the budget. Without the budget, it's not going to happen. You'll end up running yourself ragged for the next 3 years trying to roll the ball uphill. You've undertaken a cost-benefit analysis. Fabulous ideas for websites. The only trouble is it's going to cost you $100,000, and in a year it's only going to bring you tuppence halfpenny. There's no point doing it, really. You need to understand how much it is you're going to spend, what it is you're going to get back. And if that's a long-term investment, that's fine. But not if you need something that's going to come back to you in a year or two. And very often it's nice to have the fabulous ideas, but without knowing people who can do the animation, who know how to put together Flash, who know how to get the search engine optimization techniques. And the people in here very often will not be technical in that sense. I don't know how to build a website. I've done one using some very simple techniques. But the sort of websites that mainly people in small to medium enterprises or big business or organisations or councils have, sometimes that will be people internally, but it will very rarely be the person with the idea about the website. It's very rare nowadays for a technician to say, we need a website, I know how to build it, let's do one. It's very often the business leaders, the strategy, the thinkers in the organisation. But you still need to have people inside the organisation who can make it happen. And it can't get in the way of your other business. That's kind of about resources as well. If making your website means that you're not servicing your customers, stop doing the website, service the customers. Argue for the resources and get those afterwards, but don't take yourself down the rat hole of developing a website and stop interacting with your customers. You can't go there. So what are you going to do with your website? You've got the motivation and the means to achieve it, but now the tricky bit, what will it actually look like? Is it dynamic, a motivating force to make the browser take action, which is what you mostly want in business to business? Or occasionally, if it's informational, you want them to stay around a while and have a look at what's in there. Are people going to be interested? Try and avoid the trap of filling the site with content from old promotional material. The first site I did about 7 or 8 years ago was effectively just the company's brochures, and I sliced them up into different pages and got the developer to put them on the site. Dull as dishwater. I've left that site as it was because it was low priority. There were other things I needed to do in my business. So I haven't had a chance to refresh that. But they are dull as dishwater pages, really. If you slice up an old brochure, the text is all wrong, the pictures won't be right, you'll end up scrolling down lots and lots of pages. So you need to make it interesting for people. Is it unique? Is it different enough from your competitors or the other organisations like you to make it to make it interesting for people to come to? Does it communicate? Is it interactive? Does it need to be interactive? Should people be able to buy things on the site? Or are you just looking for a way of getting information to people? Is it accessible? One of the biggest problems that people have as consumers of large websites, as readers of large websites, is information is hidden. You see all too many websites which are like my corporate website. There are probably 5,000 or 6,000 pages on the corporate website of the company that I work for. I'm involved in probably a couple of hundred of those maximum. But at that level of complexity, what we're finding from our customers as an organisation is people are saying, it's too complex, it's too difficult to get around your site, your navigation doesn't mean anything to me, my journey through the site is complex, so you have to make it accessible. A good rule of thumb is, if somebody comes to the site and they can't find it in 3 clicks, they'll go to a competitor's, they'll go somewhere else. So you need to make it accessible.
Can I just ask you a question about text? You know, you said you cut up your brochure and put it in.
Yeah.
Is it right that you should keep repeating your keywords throughout the text that you put on a website so it helps with search engine optimization?
There is a different skill writing text for websites, but I think a lot of nonsense is talked about that. The reality is Google keeps changing the rules. You used to have to put meta tags and keywords in all the places, and you could hide them as white text on a white background. Google nowadays will mark that down very heavily. The thing that matters now to Google is it relevant to the person searching? So there's something a little bit later we can talk about on that, or maybe a little bit later. One of the other things that's happening with the internet nowadays, more and more people with these kinds of machines, it can be fairly frustrating if people have got to a website which isn't optimised for the mobiles as well. And I think that will become an increasing feature for the future. Most people still consume them on screens this size, though. Don't forget to keep adding in the strategy at all stages, because getting them to take the right action, that might be purchasing a product or it may be booking a room, that's the thing that you're looking to keep as a consistent theme through your site. So what sort of site is it going to be? Well, there's thousands of example brochure sites, exactly as I explained earlier. You take a brochure, you slice it up, you put it onto half a dozen pages, there we are, we've got the website. Well, it works to get your presence there on the website, on the web, but people won't find it because it's not terribly interesting, there's no reason for people to come. You've got e-tail sites. Amazon is a very good example, but there's others. eBay. There's information sites.